Fun fact, I'm not white. So why does a white man like yourself get to call me a transphobic bigot because I won't pretend that you're a woman? Why does a white man like you get to disparage me when I'm treating you the same way I would treat any other man? Fun fact, person whose account either got banned or deleted. Just because you personally don't support me or even believe that transgender people such as myself even exist in the first place. The fact remains that I am a trans woman regardless if you like it or not. Fun fact, there are so many differences between myself and a man. For example, I don't know many men who have taken estradiol for almost 5 years. 2.5 of those being an injection in the butt every single week, including taking a pill that cuts off almost 100% of testosterone production, who is literally months away from gender reassignment surgery and just waiting for insurance to get back to him, has gone through facial feminization surgery, has had both laser hair removal and electrolysis done, who have grown boobs and literally have a fairly nice hourglass figure, has shaped their voice to be much higher than it used to be. Reference. A man who has gone through a very extensive legal process to change his name on every single government document possible. From birth certificate, driver's license, social security, insurance, credit and debit, and everything in between. Who has left the church 100% and never looked back. Been stalked, cyber abused, and thought less of every single day. Grew their hair out, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times, who watch their back when they're going to their car and lock their car door right behind them, who have experienced both misogyny and sexism, gone through a personal hell and back with his mental health, having 8 suicide attempts, to still be alive 12 years later after the fact to talk about it. And just generally does these things just for shits and giggles, just because. In fact, I only know women, trans women, who have done this exact same thing as me, including all this shit that we've had to deal with our entire lives. There isn't one man on this earth or any other planets would ever go to these measures to put this much work into something to just still be considered a man. You never answered my question. Why does a white man like you get to call real minorities bigots for not pretending you're a woman? Let's answer your question then, but let's change it up just a little bit, because I just answered the question about me supposedly being a man in the last statement. So, why does a trans woman like me get to call real minorities bigots? For them not possibly being able to stomach the idea that someone who has never affected their life in any way, shape, or form, who changes their body for themselves, not you, who regardless of what your brain does, exists. Now first, let's address the real minorities. A minority, by definition, is defined as a part of a population, thought of as differing to the rest of the population in some characteristics, and is often subjected to differential treatment. So according to that definition, transgender people are absolutely every single possible way a minority group. And there's not a single Google search or Ask Jeeves, Yahoo, nothing that will tell you any different. With every single point of its being, transgender people are a minority in every single case. But that's not the problem that you have. No. The problem here is that you can't fathom the idea of 2 minorities existing in the same space at the same time. Answer my question about why a white man like you gets to disparage a real marginalized minority like me. You can't stomach the fact that being a black woman and being a transgender woman can exist in the same space. Because you cannot understand someone as repulsive and out of the ordinary, someone who is making all the possible changes that are actively available, who as a group historically have been raped, killed, assaulted, targeted, imprisoned on ramped up charges, and left in violent offender cells as a part of V-coding. You might want to look that one up. V-coding. Been on the receiving end of hundreds, if not thousands, of laws limiting our ability to be seen as anything besides the sex that is listed on our original birth certificate. No, you can't possibly understand what it's like wanting to push something on me because you simply just cannot see it. But you very crudely want to show me that only your life and your struggles count, that your life is the only one that matters, and not mine. That it's only your group that can possibly be oppressed and marginalized beyond relief. And because gender identity, or as I see it, gender being, I don't just identify as a trans woman, I am a trans woman. That's who I am. And because gender identity or gender being is an internal value inside you, and you've most likely been a victim of racism your entire life, I'm not negating that at all by saying this. But the joke's on you, because my internal structure and internal being has been a part of my existence for a very, very long time. And this has been something I've been targeted for years before I even knew I was trans. Because before I figured this out about myself, I was targeted, picked on, and bullied for being a boy, for being a male-presenting person with long hair, who was someone that was very much more feminine than every other guy in the school, who always hung out with the girls and was the only boy who ever did the flex arm hang during the presidential, whose numbers in those presidential fitness tests was actually right in the range of the girls' numbers. But because I wasn't born with a mark on my forehead that says trans, you don't see it because you equate your skin color to being a fact. And my entire being and existence, while it's not even close to being everything that I am, I'm considered fiction to you because you can't possibly stomach two different minorities existing at the same time in the same place. But the part that I really just don't understand the most is that Black and brown lives and LGBTQIA plus lives, both your rights and my rights, they've always worked hand in hand because once one minority's rights have been taken away, it's quite possible that the next one to go is yours. And I hate being that cynical, I hate being that way, but that's the way this works. And refusing to see the viability in that is just insulting. And anyways, it's not like you're going to actually see this video because your account either got banned or deleted. And I don't know what's happening there, but I'm assuming that someone reported you because you're leaving the same comments on other trans creators. You never seemed to care about what my response actually was. You just felt the need to hold power above me. Just like if I was in a pond and I was a tadpole and you pulled me out and I became a frog, but you still called me a tadpole. If this is your first time meeting me, hi, my name is Andrea. I'm known as Trans Girl Meets World. And it was absolutely amazing meeting you for the first time or yet again. And remember, gals, guys, and everybody in between, you are loved, you are valid, and you are supported. Love, Andrea.